Trinket Trove is an adorable, fast-paced game between 2 and 6 players where you take the role of one of the possible collectors, which are a little mouse trying to add to their trinket collection. Trinkets have an associated value going up from 2 all the way up to 7, and there is a couple mirror cards which have a value of 8, which acts like wild cards. The whole goal is to collect as many as you can to complete a set of each individual one. So this is the shell, and you can see there's 4 different denominations of points you can get. If you have one of these shells by themselves in isolation, that'll be 10 points, and if you have 2, you'll have 20, and so on. If you'll notice, this number up here also will be identical to how many different tiers of scores you'll have. So for example, this feather right here is a 7, so this will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different possible scoring mechanisms. If I have these 2 by the end of the game, for example, the set together will be the let me just show you. If I go like that, it'll be worth 10 points, and then if I get one more feather, 25, and so on. There is special mechanics for a 2-player game in which Nimbus right here is going to be acting as kind of like an AI, as a third imaginary player, but we're going to look at it as if you have 3 regular players. And I do want to say you can play as Nimbus in a regular 3-player game. It's just this is the character that is used if you are playing 2-player as the third imaginary character. For the game setup, you're going to have the first and last position set up just like this, and this is going to be the area to determine how the characters go in order. You'll see that in a second. To start the game, they just go in a random order. It doesn't matter so much, as you're going to see. Each one of the players is going to be dealt 4 cards from the trinket pile. The draw pile is going to be on the furthest of the right above the area where the bidding happens, and then 6 cards are going to be put, in this case it's a 3-player game, so you're going to have 6 cards in what they call a timer pile. Since there's 3 players in this game, it's going to be 3 cards immediately right here, and at the start of each round, the timer card is going to go to this first one right here. So each one of these is considered a lot, and a lot can consist of any number of cards, as you'll see. Cards are not intended to be a common knowledge in the game, but I have them face up just so I can show you what is in these players' hands for examples. The first check that the players do is to make sure they don't have a mirror in their starting hand, and if they do, they return it back to the draw pile. So the way this game is played is, so these were randomly placed from the first to last segment, and you're going to see now why it doesn't matter so much. Patches has the first opportunity to bid, or I should say that he is the first one to bid. For the sake of simplicity, I put the cards like this. So we'll say that this is Patch's hand, this is Templeton's hand right down here, and this hand is from Brisby. So since Patches is going to go first, what he's essentially doing is trying to decide if one of these cards up here is something that maybe he wants to add to his collection. So you see there's 2 crayons, a bottle cap, and a gem. So right now he's got 1 gem, a button, and a key, and a shell. So ideally, since you're trying to get more sets, he might be looking at trying to go for this gem. So for the bidding phase, what he's going to do is he's going to take any number of cards, including 0 cards from his hand, and putting them up there to see if he can be the first one to pick. So just for this example, let's just say that he throws up a 4. One important thing about this is that from the perspective of priority, if somebody has 2 cards and the other ones have 1 that they're bidding, the number of cards is the most relevant. And then the second thing we look at is the value. So this would be a 5, meaning it's higher than a 4. So this is the exact way that this would play out. So this isn't what he's playing right here, but just so you have a reference, the more cards you play, the more leverage you have to being able to go first. And then we go by these point values up here. Let's say Templeton wants to put something higher value from that because he wants to choose first. And he could put this, and I know Brisbee hasn't actually taken the turn yet, but this would technically be higher priority than that. And then let's just say for fun, we'll take a 3 and a 4 right there. He'll bid for this. Now, this doesn't make any actual sense for the game because Brisbee hand has 2 keys in it, so you probably should keep those, but just purely for the example of how this would go. So the first thing you do after the bidding phase is that you look at the highest value. So this is 2 cards. Automatically, compared to the other ones, this is going to be the first, and then we look at the highest value. So we have the 5 and then the 4. So Brisbee would be the first who played that. And then we have Templeton and then Patches, and we're going to switch them in order like that so we know who put in what. Now, what happens is from highest priority of first player to last player, the first player gets to choose 2 piles that they want to take, except the ones that they place themselves. So, for his options, he can grab any one of these 5. He just can't grab this one specifically. So let's grab some gems and a marble. He had a gem in there. I'm not really paying too much attention for that. I just wanted to show you the structure of it. So now he would go. The only thing he couldn't take is the one that was above him, but it was already taken. So let's just say he grabs this, and this goes to his hand. And then the last person gets the remainder. And as you can see in this case, Patches put down the key, but since he is the last player, this is the one time where he can actually add it to his hand. So at the end of all of that, you can see that Brisbee has 6 cards in his hand, Templeton does as well, and Patches only has 4, but it doesn't matter because you can have any number of cards in your hand. It doesn't matter if the opponents have more or less. You're just trying to get as many of the same kind. And there's multiple that have the same number, but the same exact, like this is 2 gems. Yeah, so this crayon, this does not count towards this collection. As many of those as you can in the set. And that literally is pretty much all the rules. From here, we just keep doing the same thing. We put 3 in this pile because there's 3 players. We take the top from the timer deck, so now there's 1 less turn. In order of who went first the last game, that person gets to bet, and if they don't, for example, have something in their hand that they want to, they could also choose to flip to their 0 side and pick one from the deck. But what that does essentially means that from a card perspective, he placed 0 cards from his hand. So if these mice put 0 cards from or even 1 card in their hand, then that's going to outrank this. And just for fun, let's just say that the other 2 players said, you know what, why not? We'll do the same exact thing. So he'll grab 1 from the deck just like that. He'll grab 1 from the deck just like this. And in this case, the way that would win is this has the highest total value. They all had 0 equally, so we would just look at that value. So it would be in this order now. Oh, I'm sorry. 6. And just so we know each one's position, we'll put these down in the turn order row. We know who submitted which one. And then turn order again. They take whichever 2 piles that they want other than the one right above them. And the game continues until each round you eventually end out all of your timer deck. Overall, it's a very fast-paced and fun game. Once you know how to play games, I would imagine would go even faster than the box. And what I think is really cool is even for the same kind of items like bottle caps, you can tell there's a lot of different artwork. So for the feathers over here, this is pretty much the same image, but then there's another orange one over here, and there's a variety of different color gems. So I think that's a nice little touch. And if you wanted to add a fun, fast-paced game, easy to learn to your collection that has a lot of replayability, then you might want to add this one to your collection.